Tonight, tomorrow, and Saturday at Severance Hall. ClevelandOrchestra.com.
From NPR News in Washington, I'm Dave Mattingly. In eastern Ukraine today, a military helicopter's been shot down by pro-Russian insurgents amid heavy fighting. Ukraine's acting president says 14 soldiers were killed when the helicopter was hit by a portable air defense missile. One of the dead is said to be a Ukrainian army general. The aircraft went down near Sloviansk, about 100 miles from the Russian border. NATO says a helicopter crash in Afghanistan has killed one service member. NPR's Sean Carberry in Kabul reports it's believed that crash was an accident.
The helicopter struck a communications antenna while landing, says Dawa Khan Minapal, spokesman for the governor of Kandahar province. Minapal says the helicopter was approaching a landing zone near the government compound of Kandahar's Maruf district when the accident occurred. He says anywhere from 6 to 10 troops were injured in the crash. NATO would not comment on Minapal's account. According to the casualty counting site iCasualties.org, this is the 32nd NATO death in Afghanistan this year, which is half the total for this time last year. And about 50% of this year's troop deaths have come from non-hostile causes such as accidents. Sean Carberry, NPR News, Kabul.
A new report finds systematic mismanagement at hospitals run by the Department of Veterans Affairs. The investigation by the VA Office of Inspector General initially focused on a VA hospital in Arizona. The report says about 1,700 U.S. military veterans in need of medical care in Phoenix were at risk of being forgotten after being left off an official waiting list. Investigators say those on the list waited an average of 115 days for a first appointment. The report is increasing pressure on VA Secretary Eric Shinseki to step down. Authorities in western Colorado say it's still too dangerous for rescue teams to resume the search for 3 men missing in that mudslide east of Grand Junction. Laura Palmisano with member station KVNF says the ground there remains too unstable.
Mesa County Administrator Tom Fisher says there's an immense pool of water building up behind the collapsed ridge.
It has the potential to release a large body of water quickly if it breaks. So we are concerned about that, as well as further slide activity as a result of this.
Fisher says the county is concerned the natural dam created by debris could burst, sending water in a secondary slide towards homes and oil and gas production sites in the area. The Mesa County Sheriff's Office has set up a reverse 911 alert system for cell phones and landlines to warn people if another slide occurs. For NPR News, I'm Laura Palmisano.
There's a court hearing today in Colorado connected to the deadly Aurora movie theater shootings in 2012. Prosecutors and defense attorneys will be looking at jury selection in the trial of James Holmes. This is NPR News.
From IdeaStream, I'm Rick Jackson. The Ohio Supreme Court has upheld Cleveland's right to enforce a curfew law on Public Square. The city may continue to prohibit people from the park area of Public Square overnight unless they have a permit. The case stemmed from the arrest of 2 Occupy Cleveland protesters back in October of 2011. They refused to leave the park and later won on appeal. Attorneys for the city appealed, arguing the ordinance is actually about public safety. A bill that freezes Ohio's efficiency and renewable standards is set to head to the governor's desk after passing the House yesterday. Lawmakers have been debating this issue since the start of 2013. But the final bill is a 2-year freeze on the benchmarks for utilities, which were supposed to get 25% of their energy from alternative sources by 2025. During the freeze, a commission will perform a cost-benefit analysis of the standards. Those in support of the Republican-sponsored legislation say a change was needed in order to avoid increasing cost in electric bills. Opponents say a freeze will create uncertainty in the alternative energy market and ultimately lead to higher utility bills. Democratic Representative Dan Ramos of Lorain claimed this bill will drive companies out of the state.
It tells the free market, it tells business, Ohio's not for you if you want to create jobs in the alternative energy sector.
A spokesperson for Governor John Kasich said the governor does plan on signing the bill. Close to $600,000 is headed toward Lorain County, designated to support environmental brownfield site assessments there. The EPA's Brownfields ARC program funds both assessment and cleanup of contaminated land of former industrial and commercial properties, which creates jobs and protects Ohioans' health and the environment. $450,000 will be designated for assessment of hazardous substances that will go to the county and to the cities of Oberlin, Avon Lake, Lorain, North Ridgeville, and the village of Wellington. It is 60 degrees now in Randolph. We're looking for a high of 70.
Support for NPR comes from the William and Flora Hewlett Foundation, helping people